All right, PFF put out their top 25 under 25 list last week, and I'm going to run through the top 10, the last 5, and then we're going to talk about some possible omissions to see if PFF missed the mark on
losing his mind at his
Earl was very upset.
Martin Emerson, he thinks he's the best player in football.
I have specific marching orders from Earl to mention MJ Emerson.
Oh, my God.
So we'll get to that in a sec. PFF's top 5, now their cutoff was you had to be – you were ineligible if you were 25 by the start of the season.
Okay.
So guys like Micah Parsons and Justin Jefferson, they specifically mentioned.
Are you surprised Sewell's number 1?
Were specifically mentioned as being.
How is Trevor Lawrence ahead of Jamar Chase?
This was their top 5. Sewell at 1, Gardner at 2, Lawrence at 3, Chase 4, Hamilton 5.
No.
Before we get to the rest.
I mean, Jamar Chase should be number 1.
We all have immediate issues with the top 5, right?
He's injured.
Yes. I would have Jamar Chase 1.
I would. I like Sauce at 2.
Sauce Gardner. Listen. Chase, Hamilton, Gardner, and Sewell are all great. I don't understand why Trevor Lawrence is in the top 5.
That's my only beef. If you want to order them any way you want,
yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. The other 4 guys are fantastic players. Trevor Lawrence has had 1 good year out of 3 so far.
Unless he's getting points for playing quarterback. But
I don't know.
I don't know. They didn't seem to.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence belongs in the top 25. And is part of this list projecting?
No.
It does. This is right now. It says these are top 25 players under 25.
Okay.
Which the Lawrence thing I didn't get. The other 4 are all elite.
I still like Lawrence
positions.
a lot, but I wouldn't have him in the top 5.
Yeah. All right, 6 through 10 real quick. Steve, take the next one here. And your next is Aiden Hutchinson of the Lions, C.J. Stroud, Brock Purdy, Garrett Wilson, and Trent McDuffie.
To your point,
of the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'd have Stroud above Lawrence. Maybe that's prisoner of the moment. Coming off a great rookie year, I know it's only a rookie. I'd have Stroud above Trevor Lawrence.
I'll go even crazier.
Some people
I'd have Stroud number 1. I would have Stroud number 1. If I had to start a team under 25, now that's not a fair comparison,
right?
Because quarterback heavy.
That's not fair.
But
I look at that part right. This
of those 3 quarterbacks, I'd take C.J. Stroud every day.
And I would, and I know people will disagree. I'd take Purdy over Lawrence.
Look at you, go Bucks.
Oh, C.J. Stroud's phenomenal.
C.J. Stroud's phenomenal.
We got 2
all these guys,
right there. Go Bucks.
I'd have all of these guys ahead of Trevor Lawrence. I don't know enough about Trent McDuffie.
Trent McDuffie was that dude in the slot.
Yeah, he's really, really good. Do you want me to read? I didn't make graphics for 11 through 20.
Yeah, who's 11 through 15?
I'll just do the 11 is Amon-Ra St. Brown of the Lions.
Fantastic.
12, Puka Nacua.
Great.
13, Pat Surtain.
They got PS2 that low? That's absurd. That's absurd. That's absurd.
Trevor Lawrence.
PS2 is like the best corner in the league.
Okay.
That's absurd.
Is he better than Sauce Gardner?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
That's absurd.
Wow.
There you go.
Okay.
Will Anderson was 14. Tyler Smith, the tackle for the Cowboys, was 15. Bijan Robinson, 16. Javon
Who was
Holland.
16? Sorry.
Bijan Robinson.
Bijan Robinson, 16.
Cool.
Who's 17?
Javon Holland of Miami, the safety.
That's the safety.
Oh, yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
Greg Rousseau, the pass rusher from Buffalo at 18.
He's very good.
Sam Laporta, the tight end from Detroit at 19. And then Tyler Lindenbaum at 20. And then we have 21 through 25 because there's something to point out here. Steve, take this. 21, Jahmyr Gibbs. 22, Jalen Carter. 23, Derek Stingley Jr. 24, Chris Olave. 25, Kyle Pitts, which means no Browns.
Who is Earl taking out?
So real quick, I went through just to find the age limits. Steve, take the next one. Yeah. Possible omissions. Emerson.
Dawand, stop Dawand, Joe.
Newsome and JOK.
He's just saying who their candidates would be.
I'm just saying these are candidates who fit the age. I'm not saying.
Right.
Just saying these are guys who can make a case.
I got you.
Up there.
Should any of these 4 have been on the top 25? Or
I don't
do you think
so.
PFF got it right by
Let me see that. Let me see the list
Look
before
at
that.
21 to 25.
Yeah,
Who are you taking out there? I mean, Kyle Pitts has put up good numbers considering he's had terrible quarterbacks. His numbers have still been decent.
He had 1 year, and that was his rookie year.
Tyvis, this was 21 through 25.
The only reason that Kyle Pitts may get it over JOK is because he's an offensive player. That's the only reason.
So you'd take JOK over Emerson on a 25 under 25 list? I'm just asking. I'm not making a case one way or the other.
I would.
I think it's close. I think it's really
very
close between the two
I'd
of
take
them.
JOK over Emerson. I like both of those guys, but I wouldn't take either of those guys over anybody on this bottom 5 here.
You would have taken JOK over Derek Stingley?
Like I said, no, there's no knock on Emerson, but I'm telling y'all, it was something last year about him. Like that people started figuring out.
Yeah.
I'm
kind of worried.
And I'm worried this season
Jason and
about
Earl
him.
are too obsessed with him.
Yeah,
He's a very good player.
He is.
I'm with Titus on this.
I'm telling you, it's something. They figured something out.
At the start of the year, I was with
He
Earl.
was locked down, but towards the end, people got tape on him, and I'm telling you, it's something. Now, I'm not saying that he ain't good or nothing like that.
He's definitely good.
He's definitely great, but I'm just telling you, what JOK was doing last year was ridiculous at times. I was sitting there with having to break the film down with McNuggets, and I'd be like, I cannot believe that he's seeing it this fast and he's playing this fast, and he was getting under them guards. It was unbelievable the way that man was playing that linebacker last year.
You could make a case for JOK to be right there at the back end of that list. I think.
I would.
Yeah.
The Kyle Pitts thing, I would probably take JOK. I would.
Still think I think Kyle Pitts has been misused and has played with terrible quarterbacks.
Who was his quarterback his rookie year? Well, Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Listen, Kirk Cousins love tight ends. So if it don't happen for him this year, it's done.
Right.
It's done.
One thing that I found interesting, and I didn't have the list.
A lot of good players.
There's a lot of good players,
Yeah.
and I think this is the type of thing where you see the Browns not having a first-round pick for the last 3 years shows up. It reveals itself. I wonder how many of those guys were first-round picks.
Well, let's go
Well,
through
I'll do it
it.
real quick. Penei Sewell was number 6.
Can you bring up the list again?
Yeah, Steve, go.
I know.
I'll read it through while Steve's looking. But Penei Sewell was a top 10 pick.
Yep.
It doesn't just first round.
Sauce Gardner, top
Yep,
10 pick.
yep.
Trevor
The first
Lawrence,
one
number
is
1
the
overall.
mine,
Jamar Chase, top 10.
Yep.
Kyle Hamilton was the 14th pick.
Yep. So
First
round.
Aiden Hutchinson, second
round.
overall. C.J. Stroud, second overall. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant.
Right,
So,
so
he's our
7.
one exception so far.
So 1.
Garrett Wilson, top 10. Trent McDuffie was a first-round pick.
9 out of 10.
Amon-Ra St. Brown was
No.
not.
Nope, 4th round.
Fourth round. Puka was
No.
not.
That's 3.
Pat Surtain was. Will
That's 10.
Anderson was.
11,
Tyler Smith was.
12.
Bijan Robinson was.
13.
Javon Holland, I don't believe.
remember.
was.
I don't
Let me
think
check.
I think he was a second round.
Yeah,
pick.
he was.
All right, so
So
13.
that's 4 guys. I got the non-first rounders. 4.
Greg Rousseau.
He was.
He was a first round.
He
pick.
was.
Laporta was not.
No, he wasn't.
You sure about that?
No, he was a second round pick.
Okay.
All right, so we're at
So
14.
that's 5.
Tyler Lindenbaum was.
He was.
Yeah.
Jameer Gibbs was.
Yeah.
Jalen Carter was.
Yeah.
Derek Stingley was. Chris Olave was. Kyle Pitts was.
So 20 of the 25
20
were
to
first
25.
round picks.
And that's where not having a first-round pick for 3 years sort of limits
Yeah.
you in stuff like this.
So the 5 guys that weren't: Purdy, Amon-Ra,
Nakua. And I forget the other 2.
Sam Laporta and Javon Holland. So
and I think Laporta and Holland were second round
both.
picks.
I just looked both early second round picks.
Yeah. So if you look at only 3 of those guys were outside of the top 40.
Laporta was the 34th pick, so
Yeah.
literally just outside.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Holland. I need a third hand so I could type talking to the mic and click. Javon Holland, draft pick. He was, second round pick.
Shows the importance of
And he was 36th overall, by the way.
Yeah. So 22 of the 25 were drafted in the top 36.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
So you're
You
really
know, obviously Amon-Ra and Puka Nakua, people missed the boat on those 2 guys because
Right.
they're fantastic.
right.
So
Yep.
there's no way that we're trading our pick this year.
I would think
With the
not.
Browns, you never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
They're in full win now mode.
And Emerson and JOK were both second round picks, right?
No, third.
Emerson was 3rd.
Emerson was
JOK
third,
was
yeah.
second.
JOK was second, right?
MJ was a third. Dawand was a fourth.
Hey, those guys have both been good picks. They're
Yep.
both very good players.
You know? They
But-
both should get paid by the Cleveland Browns.
And probably they'd be in consideration. Now, I say they'd be in consideration 25 to 30, but we're not thinking about the other guys
Sure.
from other teams
Right.
that are not too.
But they're
certainly
there. They're knocking on the door.
They're not far off from the bottom of that list. But, you know, I would in the end, I think all the guys 21 to 25 were better. And now, if JOK does it again this year,
He's
then,
on the
then
list.
it's a different-
If he still qualifies.
Kyle Pitts ain't did it in 2 years.
How old is JOK? Is he even eligible
He-
next year? He probably would.
This is the last year he's eligible.
Yeah.
He will be
Kyle
25.
Pitts had.
Well, most of those guys
He
will be
had a
gone
rookie
next year.
season where he got 1,000 yards, and that's been it.
But I think that has more to do with the team.
So how is he still on the 20?
Now, you can make the argument for JOK the same thing, but
Yeah.
JOK was awful 2 years ago. Kyle Pitts was never awful.
He is past couple of years. Yes,
He's been okay, not awful.
JOK was
What is
good.
his Kyle Pitts
phenomenal.
numbers?
I will get those numbers real quick. I want to turn the camera over to Earl real quick, who says we are all missing the mark, and I'm going to give him.
Is Earl being serious, or is he just?
No, I'm not even joking.
Is this
right now.
Dawand or
so,
MJ?
So MJ didn't give up a single touchdown last year. MJ had 77 targets come his way, only gave up 33 receptions. Opposing quarterbacks had a passer rating of 45.3 when targeting him as well. So, I think it's a legit case for this dude. He was good as a rookie, and then he followed it up with a great sophomore season. I'm not even being funny right now. I think he got snubbed.
I am worried about. I agree with Tyvis. Something happened toward the end of the year. He just didn't look fast. It looked like something got figured out on him. I still really like him. I still think he's good.
What everybody figured out.
I hope I'm wrong.
On MJ is what I think it is I think that MJ is really good at the line of scrimmage. I think that he's good with his hands.
Big and physical.
I think he's big. He's good with his hands, and he can get a good jam. But I think the long speed is the problem because he only ran like a 4.53. So I think what happens is if he doesn't get a hand on you, and I'm gonna tell you, if you want to see what I'm talking about, go watch the Jets game. Garrett Wilson, it was like the first or second series of the game. They beat him off the line. They threw the fade right now, so he couldn't recover to it. He threw it, boom, he caught it. It was real quick. And I was like, huh. And then if you keep thinking about towards the end of that season, everybody started running deeper developing routes, more fade routes. And when you look at the speed, it was a little bit of separation. I'm just saying, that's all I'm saying is that it's something about his long speed, and if he don't win at the line, it's like people know his recovery speed is just not that fast right now. But that's something that he can fix as long as his technique is good, and he did a good job for the majority of the season being on top of routes to where he took that away. But I'm just saying, it's there. That's all I'm saying. It's there.
For what it's worth, he finished 66th among corners in PFF grade.
Earl says PFF's dead to him.
It's dead to me. It's dead to me too.
I've long thought we put way too much stock in PFF. I made that point all last year.
I mean, it's hard though with positions besides wide receiver and running back and quarterback
I know.
to know what stats to use.
I know, especially offensive line. It's hard.
Right. I mean, it's hard to. We're
Even
not
defensive
watching
line.
other offensive linemen.
Right.
I mean,
right.
You know.
Well, let me ask y'all one last question on this, then we'll wrap up the show here. PFF's just one opinion. It is obviously not the only thing that we have to take into consideration when you're looking at the roster construction for the Browns top to bottom. But based off this one list and having no Browns in the 25 under 25 category, concern may not be the right word, but does it worry you at all that the top end of the Browns' talent is either in their prime or on the back end of their prime? Is this roster too top heavy with older guys in that sense, or does that? And once again, PFF's just one list. I'm not even saying that's the case.
Yeah,
but does it give any concern?
For me, it's I don't know about you guys. It's not because you mentioned four guys there who are pretty good players, and I do think Martin Emerson's a really good player, and JOK's a really good player.
I do too.
And I think Dawand Jones has a ton of potential. Now, at his size, can he stay healthy? That's going to be a big question.
Correct.
I don't like Greg Newsome as much as the other three guys, but he's still a solid player. And so, and as Jason said, they haven't had first-round picks, so you're not going to have the Jamar Chases and some of these guys.
Out of curiosity, Earl, who would you put MJ over on that list?
Honestly, Kyle Pitts.
Okay.
To Bull's point, we don't really know much about the other offensive linemen, but when I look through the list, I can't hate on anybody on the list. It's a solid list, but Kyle Pitts ain't did a damn thing for real.
Yeah, his numbers the last 2 years, Tyvis. You asked for it. In 2022, he only played in 10 games, had 28 catches, 356 yards, 2 touchdowns. In 2023, he played in all 17 games, had 53 receptions, 667 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
So what
in
was
his career, he
what
has
was you
6
saying
touchdowns.
to me?
He had 1,000 yards in those 2 years combined.
What was you telling me,
Yeah,
Bull?
listen, he hasn't put up the stats.
It's okay. No, it's terrible.
Fair enough. It was terrible. You're right. Yes, last year wasn't terrible. I mean, we're lauding JOK. JOK only had 200 more yards.
Njoku.
Njoku, sorry. We can't. He wasn't terrible last year. 2 years ago was a terrible season. He was mediocre last year. And I just think let's see how he plays with Kirk Cousins.
I'm about to say, with Kirk Cousins, it should be different. But I'm just saying.
You want to put Martin Emerson ahead of Kyle Pitts?
That's
okay,
him. That's him.
There's an argument to be made there.
And I don't disagree with him on that one either. I would take MJ Emerson over Kyle Pitts.
But I still think Kyle Pitts
Because if it came down to it, if we was in the game and MJ Emerson had to check Kyle Pitts, MJ Emerson would probably win that rap.
Was a cornerback checking Kyle Pitts?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's see after this year. Who's better? It's hard to compare a tight end and a cornerback. But I still think I think Pitts has been sabotaged by the organization and the quarterbaacks.
Would you agree that his career has been a disappointment?
Absolutely.
100%.
To this point, yes.
It's impossible to argue against that.
Because he was coming out, this is the greatest tight end we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the first year was good. I know because I had him on fantasy.
I mean, to have 1,000 yards as a rookie is very rare as a tight end. Almost never happens.
He had
He's
a
had
quarterback.
1,000 over the last
2
two.
years. Yeah.
I know. But look who's playing look who the quarterbacks.
I give him that. That's legit right there. His quarterback play has not been great.
You think he'd only have those numbers if he were playing with a good quarterback? I doubt it.
We're going to find out this year. We're going to find out a lot about a lot of people this year,
So
actually.